immediate arrest of Kuje Council Chair over alleged eviction threats. In the Daily Trust, Niger Mosque attack, survivors suffering life-threatening injuries. Kogi cracks down on heavy vehicles destroying bypass road. In the Vanguard, highways of horror. Motorists will spend 4 days on Benin Asaba Road. Also in the Vanguard, 2027 presidency. ACF, PANDEF, MBF demand scrutiny of candidates' history. In the Premium Times, fake agency scandal. ICPC names top civil servants who allegedly aided Adeyemi collected money. Two men arrested over alleged attempted rape of 12-year-old girl. Good news. In the nation, in the nation, 2027 PDP flags of 2027 campaigns in Ogun Central amid massive turnout. Also in the nation, diaspora APC chapters seek inclusion in presidential campaign council. In the cable, Atiku not planning to revive old fuel subsidy regime, says Amaechi. Presidency says Atiku playing politics with petrol subsidy after third U-turn in 1 week. In the Daily Post, don't sell your votes for 500 naira. Religion. Learn from Oshun, Yusuf tell Northern voters. Investigate me, produce evidence, prosecute. Atiku DS Tinubu. In the Tribune, Anambra LG poll. Soludo marks opposition, says they ran away from contest. Also in the Tribune this morning, former Ondo Speaker warns against anti-party activities, calls for urgent reconciliation. And finally, from the pen pushing this morning, Guild of Corporate Online Publishers prominent member, Dr. Oladikbo dies at 56. Our thoughts and prayers with the family of Dr. Oladikbo. And finally, this morning, Governor Oyebanji installs Bamidele Oni as monarch of Okeako after 25-year interregnum. That's it from the National Dailies this morning. You can do well to get yourself a copy, or better still, stick with me as I run through them. We are live on YouTube at WFM 917, and you can listen to us on go via our website at www.wfm917.com. The phone lines are not open, but in the meantime, you can send your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, or your voice notes to 07031 756 07031 756 or 08155 917 917 08155 917 917. All right, the first article I'm going to take today is from the Premium Times newspaper. Fake agency scandal. ICPC names top civil servants who allegedly aided Adeyemi collected money. Just yesterday, we talked about this same fake agency scandal, and we, with our analyst Bookie yesterday, we were talking about the ICPC indicting the budget office over inclusion of fake agency in 2026 budget. And we also talked about how ICPC cleared but Femi Gbajabiamila, I was about to pronounce the name wrongly, the chief of staff to the federation. So now ICPC has exposed how senior officials in the federal civil service helped the organization obtain administrative approvals and gain access to government financial systems despite its questionable legal status. The ICPC has uncovered how some civil servants allegedly helped Adeyemi, the Director General of the now disowned Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, to obtain government approvals and gain access to official financial and administrative systems. Our analyst is here now. Good morning, Sumba. How are you?
Good morning, my dear sister. I'm sorry for coming on late. One of those days. Apologies.
It's fine. So I've started talking about the fake agency scandal. Yesterday, we saw that the ICPCS has indicted the budget office, saying, "Oh, there was a gap there. How on earth were they able to include Adeyemi Adeni in the 2026 budget?" And at the beginning of this whole brouhaha, Adeni Adeyemi was like, "Oh, Femi Gbajabiamila has a hand in it. The ICPC has cleared Femi Gbajabiamila now." So now they are naming top civil servants who allegedly aided Adeyemi, collected money from him. So I was giving the backstory. The findings are contained in the ICPC interim investigation report on the PFIPC saga. The investigation was ordered by President Bola Tinubu after the presidency disowned the organization and Mr. Adeyemi. The investigation shows that the purported agency's ability to penetrate government structures went beyond the forged documents allegedly presented by Mr. Adeyemi. It also depended on the actions of officials in several government institutions who processed its requests and facilitated approvals despite gaps in the required procedures. According to the ICPC, Mr. Adeyemi began seeking formal recognition within government structures in November 2024 when he approached the office of the Accountant General of the Federation for an administrative code, self-accounting status, and approval to open accounts with the Central Bank of Nigeria. He supported the applications with purported official documents, including an appointment letter and an establishment instrument, and a letter on State House letterhead, allegedly signed by one Akombi Adewale. Investigators found that Akombi Adewale did not exist. Forensic examination also showed that the letter attributed to him was signed by Mr. Adeyemi. Despite these irregularities, the documents were used to process the applications. On 27th May 2025, beg your pardon, the OAGF granted the organization self-accounting status and assigned it an administrative code alongside the authorized establishment and recruitment waivers arrangements. The approvals enabled the purported PFIPC to secure a place in the 2026 federal budget and gain access to government financial systems. The OAGF subsequently created the government's integrated financial management information system platform and a sub-treasury account for the organization. Acting on a request from the PFIPC, the OAGF also issued a mandate to the CBN for the creation of two domiciliary accounts. The ICPC investigation examined the roles of three civil servants in securing an authorized establishment and recruitment waiver for the PFIPC. They are Rose Achem, Senior Administrative Officer to the Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation, Patricia Akigbe, an Assistant Director in the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, and Mimi Abu, Director of Organization Design and Development at the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation. Let's note that before now, the head of civil service came out to say, oh, there was a gap, there was a mistake from their office. According to the ICPC, Ms. Achem introduced Ms. Akibe to Ms. Abu as the head of human resources of the PFIPC, even though Ms. Akigbe was an assistant director in the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. Sumba, what say you on this matter?
Quite a lot of information, has been published by whichever newspaper carried this story, and it is interesting to hear all of these things. Um, and I want to first and foremost salute the ICPC. It appears from this news report that they've been doing a thorough, investigation, and I hope that they carry it through to the end. Well, a number of people, have already said it. I heard that it was not possible for Adeyemi, to fly this fraud alone and without the support of top officials in government. And I believe that many more names are still going to be coming up by the time the investigation is over. If
Yes.
the agency, that is the ICPC, is going to be bold enough, to mention the names of top government officials who are complicit. But, as it is now, we keep our fingers crossed and continue to, we continue to wait. Because for me, and it's not even just for me, it's for every right thinking, and educated Nigerian, particularly those who have an idea of how things go administratively within government establishments. The loopholes, are so many. Now it's amazing to me that this man will sign a letter of appointment by himself, and put a name that is non-existent, and yet nobody was able to pick that up immediately. That's a strange one. Now, also, I believe that the budget office, before a budget line can come into the budget, there must be specific units of government, specific signatories, and designated officials who should who ought to be involved, and whose names or departments should be seen. So when somebody comes in and just pushes in some documents, and those documents are not immediately checked and found to be fake, it bothers me. It bothers me as to what is the level of persons within that system that sit on signing off on documents that we pass. So it's a whole load of stuff, but it will be interesting to see where it ends. But I just want to commend the ICPC for doing a good job thus far.
Hmm. Somebody, you picked it at the head because when I saw he signed himself, like he signed the document himself, put a fake name, I'm like, isn't there checks and balances in the federal system? What do you mean someone himself? Anyway, moving forward, you know, it's funny how it's, there was a gap in we made a mistake and they didn't publish anybody's name. But now they've come out to say, okay, now they've come out to, let's say, indict and to create Rose Achen at Mimia.
Yeah, breaking, Nima.
I'm so sorry. I guess it's our network. I was saying
Okay.
that some months ago, we saw that the head of civil service came out to say, oh, there was a mistake there in our institution. And now Mimi Abu is the one who is coming out from the head of civil service of the Federation's office. Like she's the one who was working with Ademi. Do you think that these people who are named, they are the scapegoats? Because remember at some point Ademi came out.
You are so on point, my darling, because it was one of the things that was going on in my head, even as we began today, that some people are going to be the ones that will be used as scapegoats. And I can assure you, the very, very top officials are going to find a way to escape, from all of this investigation. Because first and foremost, if there's a new parastatal, a parastatal of government that did not exist before, and a new one is coming. Uh-uh. I don't think that that is the way it will just fly through, all the different units just like that. I mean, if I were in the budget office, for instance, and I pick up, something like that, it's a new a parastatal I've never seen before, I would begin by asking questions. I mean, typical Nigerian, I mean, the Yoruba, I want to lele, where's the I don't know about this one, and you want to check all the. I come to a name I am not familiar with. Of course, we're going to find a way to decode it. So all these young officers, whose names may come up to be mentioned, I am very sure would have received instructions from their superiors. But unfortunately, in such instances, it is very possible that the instructions that they received was verbal
Hmm.
and undocumented. And that's why I teach everybody, whether in government sector or private sector, when it is official, do not work on verbal instructions. You understand? Even if somebody gives you verbal instructions, go back to your table, put it in a memo, further to our discussions, and wherein you said this, you said that, or send an email, and then let that go. Do you get what I'm talking about? So that might be a loophole that they would exploit, because the people who are in on this know the legality of it. And as they are doing whatever they did, they're going to be conscious of the fact that I need to cover my back. Therefore, information from them is going to be vague, even when they are asking their subordinates to do this and do that. It's going to be vague, it's going to be in a kind of shady manner. Unfortunately, if it is an officer that one is, unsuspecting, naive, or an officer, and this one is very common, who is so afraid of the superior. You know that in Nigeria, most of the time, when they talk about loyalty, they talk about loyalty to the boss and not to the system.
Yes.
So young officers who are afraid of being sacked, who are afraid of losing their job, who cannot stand up to their superiors to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, madam." That is what happens, and that happens a lot in the civil service. In the civil service, is like, the military zone. Obey the last order. Do you get what I'm saying? So, unfortunately, I smell that, and yes, a lot of people are going to be indicted, and are going to be used as scapegoats. But let's not also forget that there are people also. They might appear stupid, they might appear, docile and all of that. When the chips are down and they say that, oh, this situation, they are trying to use me as a scapegoat, it might lead to jail and all of that, they will sing.
True. Another interesting turning point in this fake agency scandal, we've been asking, okay, they've explained how he got into the federal budget. They've explained how he was able to get workers. They've explained how he was able to bypass the SGF. Now they have explained how we got an office at the Federal Secretariat. And yes,
mm,
the ICPC also examined the role of Aminu Abdullahi, the official responsible for office allocation within the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Mr.
mhm,
Abdullahi was responsible for coordinating the allocation of offices to political appointees within the OSGF. Requests for office allocation are submitted to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, processed through the Permanent Secretary, General Services Office, and subsequently referred to the Director of General Services for necessary action. According to the investigation, Mr. Abdullahi was introduced to Mr. Demi in March 2025 by Ibrahim Abdulkadir, a deputy director in General Services, soon but 2 names
mhm,
ago. First, Amir,
mhm,
and now Ibrahim Abdulkadir. The
mhm,
instruction was intended to guide Mr. Adeyemi through the process of obtaining office accommodation at the Federal Secretariat after a request made on behalf of the PFIPC to the EFCC had not produced the expected results. The ICPC found that Mr. Abdullahi allocated offices previously occupied by the former Chief Economic Advisor to the President, Doyin Salami, at the Federal Secretariat Phase 3 for temporary use by the PFIPC without written approval.
mhm,
What I read first, office allocation, yeah, request is submitted to the SGF, processed through the Permanent Secretary, General Services, then subsequently referred to the Director, General Services. What I'm seeing here is that Aminu Abdullah is from the SGF. Abdulkadir Ibrahim is from the Office of the Director, General Services. Permanent Secretary was skipped. General Service Office was skipped. Well, then it only said only two keys were available for the allocated offices. The investigation found that Mr. Abdullah broke the locks on the remaining doors to give Mr.
mhm,
Adeyemi access to the other office spaces.
mhm.
The trial also raised questions. An analysis of Mr. Abdullahi's bank statement showed that he received 3.25 million naira from Mr. Adeyemi in three branches between March and November 2025, according to the ICPC. Premium
That
time.
must be a cheap officer.
Mhm,
Because what's 3 million?
mhm.
What's 3 million out of the hundreds of millions that have been spoken about here? Go ahead. There must be well, possibly also a low level officer, and also maybe still
Deputy
very. Go ahead.
it said here that should I say he is or he was the deputy director in general services. And the premium time I had previously reported that Mr. Adeyemi operated the purported agency from the second floor of the Federal Secretariat complex in Abuja. Records reviewed by this newspaper also showed that the OSGF and OHGF processed requests from the organization as though it were a legitimate government institution. What somebody will be like, Nima, why you always putting me for talk? Because I'm always saying what say you. But anyway, what say you, Sombo?
Well, what say me is what every Nigerian is saying. That this was from the beginning to the end, as far as I'm concerned, is organized crime. Okay, we're beginning to see the hidden truth little by little, and some names, and just like I said earlier on, eventually the chicken will finally come home to roost, and that's what's going on already. It will be interesting again, like I said, to see where all of this leads. A deputy director in the federal civil service, I mean, and sticking out his neck to do this type of nonsense for 3 million naira, and that's why I would say he's cheap, extremely cheap. Possibly this is his first time he's just been introduced into it, because ordinarily for those who do this, it doesn't come that cheap. You understand? And you see, a lot of stuff goes on in the civil service. It goes on in the civil service on checks. People who have often mastered the art of how they do these things. It's just that this one is a brazen one. This one, takes it notches higher than what we usually experience. But like I said, it's still unraveling. Okay, there's still many more things to come up, and we're just going to sit back and wait patiently for us to see the conclusion of the matter. Many heads are still going to roll.
All right, we are live on YouTube at WFM 917, and you can listen to us and go via our website at www.wfm917.com. You can call us, the phone lines are now open. You can call us on 07000 07000 or 09155 917 09155 917 or 0800 1235 917 0800 1235 917. You can send your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, or your voice notes to 07031 756537 07031 756537 or 08155 917 917 08155 917 917. Our callers, our daily news review family, please call us now. Suba and I want to hear your thoughts. We're doing this with you. Please don't call when we have run out of time. It's so painful when we can't hear what you have to say because of time. Anyway, while we await our callers to call or send their text messages, we do have a call. Good morning, Ambrose. How are you? Good morning, Ambrose. How are you?
God bless you. Yeah,
Good morning.
Good morning. The issue of probe or no probe by Atiku. Have you heard that any vice president or president has been probed in this country? They won't probe him because if they dare to go there, they will probe every other vice president and president. And there is no way you probe a vice president that it will not rub on the president. So that's just the truth. They are just, using us to play games. Atiku knows that nobody can probe him. Atiku is not clean now. We know that. Is it not the same Atiku that Obasanjo wrote so many things about? Is it not the same Atiku? All these people, including the president, how did they make their money? Is it from their private business? Is it not from governors? Atiku is a multi-billionaire. Tinubu is a multi-billionaire. Where did they make their money? Where did they work? Atiku worked first of all as a custom officer. And then he became the vice president. What is it called? Tinubu worked with Mobile. And when he entered Mobile, he wasn't as rich as this. These people, they should stop deceiving themselves. They are not deceiving us. We know exactly what is happening in this country. We are aware. You get what I'm saying now. Let them stop deceiving us. I don't know whether this issue also came up where a chairman in the Kuje Council came out to say, yes, they should not vote for a chairman of a local government area. Are we in the Banana Republic? And EFCC has not picked him up. But if it is me and you now, they will be looking for us up and down. Let me tell you people something. Whether you like it or not, are you, like I said the other day, are you not part of Nigerians? Are we not in it together? You see, this country, if they want to talk now, they will say every politician is the same. It's a lie. We have good politicians in this country. Presently now, we have the governor of Abia State. We had Fashola. I'm not saying Fashola is a saint. We had Fashola. We have Professor Yemi Osibajo. These people, are they not good? We just like corruption in this country. The candidate you support tells a lot about who you are. That's why
absolutely
I anybody. Yes. So all these things that they are just saying here and there, you see them, they will talk, they will come, they will rigmarole, they will justify, they will defend. All of those things, they speak volume of who you are. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you for calling. Somebody
Mm.
thing to say in response.
Oh, absolutely. A very big thank you to you, Ambrose. This is opinion, or his views, are views that a number of Nigerians actually express. Nigerians are not fools. We're not foolish. Everybody knows the way it rolls in this country. Unfortunately, the problem is that the greed that goes on in the hearts of the politicians and government people has equally been translated to the people of Nigeria, majority. And everybody is chasing after stomach infrastructure. According to Peter Fayoshe, who gave us that slang, stomach is infrastructure. And so the average Nigerian himself has come to a point where he thinks, look, if you can't beat them, just join them. And he's also looking for every avenue to make his own money to chop, like they say. So if he has an idea, or he thinks that there's a chance for him that if this particular government comes into power, I know this, I know that, I can also get my share, of the national cake, as they put it. He goes to vote for the person, irrespective of the character of that person. Don't you see that we have gotten so low in this country that it doesn't matter, what a candidate is accused of, not even accused. It doesn't matter what his a personality is all about. People will still vote. In Nigeria today, we have governors who have been not just indicted, we even have those who have been jailed, for fraud, and they still come. And well, it's also often difficult for me to say, and people voted for them. There will be those of their ilk who will vote for them, but for the bulk of the votes they get, we know how they get them. They grab it, they snatch it, and they run away with it. Which we saw demonstrated in Osun State, how people came out brazenly, to embrace violence just because they wanted to win elections. We saw how an armored car was used to come and snatch ballot boxes. I mean, how did we descend so low? And at the end of the day, the Australian election is come and gone. Nobody is going to be apprehended of all of these thugs and all of that, and taken to court, and sentence and judgment is passed over them. We do things and we get away with it. That's why we keep going low and low and low. Nobody answers to any bad behavior or any crime in this country, which is unfortunate. By the time you see them say, this one has committed a crime, he's going to jail, he stole a phone. Do you understand? The people that are really robbing us silly and robbing us dry in this country get away with it. Not only do they get away with it, they are the ones that are giving national honors. They are the ones that are taking chieftaincy titles. They are the ones that that are being called here and there. Our universities have also declined so low. They are the ones getting honorary, doctorate degrees. Why? Because the universities themselves are just looking for money. So they target you, they look at, this one has a lot of money. Let's give him, a doctorate degree, honorary, and he will give us money. It's a transaction. So that's how bad things have gone. Oh.
Yes, good morning, Francis. How are
Good
you?
morning, Human Radio.
Good morning, Francis.
Good
Can you
morning,
hear
Human.
me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good
Good
morning.
morning. Yeah, good morning, Sumba.
Good morning.
Do you know why? Yeah, do you know why these people don't want Mr. Peter Obi to succeed as a Nigerian president? They know that he is clean. His record is clean, just like Jesus Christ. So he has no say. He has no say. So they
I
know that
don't know.
Peter Obi eventually succeed as the Nigerian president. They can probe the past president and their vice because there's nothing, heaven will not fall if you do it, and it will go into record. Other civilized countries, they do it. They probe their president, they probe their governors and the prime ministers, and heaven has not fallen. That's why they don't want him to come. He has a clean record. If we do it, nothing will happen. That's why they don't want him. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning. Good morning, Oga Francis. I'm not sure about, anybody being able to probe anybody in this country.
Mm.
Mr. Peter Obi might be clean, as you say, because, well, hitherto, there's been no allegation brought against him that has been proven. Okay, I mean, it appears that everything that they talk about, his slate is clean. So I might, just say all right to that. But I don't even see him, if he becomes president, going the route of probing. Because the question is, how many people do you want to probe in this country? And where and when is that probe going to begin from? How? I think that it doesn't matter how clean a person is, if he gets into government, he's just going to kind of draw a curtain on the past and try to begin afresh, except maybe for very recent things that can, if there's a possibility of retrieving some monies. Because the truth of the matter is like everywhere is corrupt. Too. Give me that government functionary that has not put their hands in the coffers of government. Yes, a few of them, but the few are like a drop in the ocean. So I don't see even a Mr. Obi being able to do that. And any other person who might be clean who comes into government. I think that if we talk about a probe, the only person or the only caliber of persons who may be able to do that and succeed will be a military government. And that is not what anybody is asking for now, because a military government can come in and, put in a decree that would get all these people into jail or whatever, just like they did in the time of Buhari in his first coming, and they took all those former governors and former government people. But in this case, under a civilian government, it will be difficult because the courts themselves have become complicit. The courts will just, and they have the money stashed away that they can pay. They will get 50 cents to come and represent them, and it will become a jamboree in court. It will, at the end of the day, it will become, a joke and a comedy session. So let's just say that's my take. That's my position. It would be good if somebody were able to do it, but I don't see, the feasibility of it in the current circumstances that we're in Nigeria and under a civilian government.
All right. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Nima.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing fine. And you?
Fine, thank you. Our analyst Sumbo is here.
Sumbo.
Good morning.
You see, I wanted to chime in on the earlier topic that Sumbo was talking about. And I
Go
agree with
ahead.
100%, right? But someone has just provoked me this morning, right? How dare anyone compare Peter Obi with Jesus Christ? That is blasphemy. No, he was forgotten as far back as 20 years ago. He was part of the whole order. He was part of the establishment. So the fact that he's been packaged does not erase the fact that this man is as corrupt as they come. In this country, several kinds of positions were being investigated. And for the record, there's something that is called ICIJ. ICIJ, it stands for International Consortium of Investigative Journalists.
Journalists.
National Consortium of Investigative Journalists. These guys, there are about 280 to 290 international journalists across 100 countries. They came together to investigate some corrupt politicians around the world. And in Nigeria, they found out that Peter Obi had some offshore accounts, some shell companies abroad, where he hid a number of money under the name of his daughter, Gabriela. And at the time, Gabriela was a minor. Gabriela and his son, Peter Obi's son was a local, and his daughter, Gabriela, both were minors at the time. And he even registered this guy as director of one of his shell companies abroad. And he confessed with his own mouth that he had about $50 million in the shell account abroad. What are we talking about? You looted a number of funds, take it abroad, under the name of your daughter, under some shell companies, which does not exist, and you're telling me that this Obi is as clean as Jesus Christ? What are you talking about? This was the same man that was bribing judges, building 12 5-bedroom duplex complexes for judges in Anambra. He was the only governor that was buying 177 SUV vehicles for traditional rulers in Anambra. His official convoy was seized in Lagos while he was diverting 250 million naira to his office premises in Lagos. You're not saying that such a person is a saint, and you're comparing him to Jesus Christ. Please, not to should hurt or our sensibility is too. It's so upsetting. It's so upsetting, right? And he has several cases of corruption with EFCC. The fact that he has not been talked. How many past governors have been talked? How many of them have been talked? Because he has not been investigated or docked by prosecuting agencies, does that exonerate anybody from being corrupt? So, you talked about the agencies and all that. You see, one of the things that I found and I agree with is that our vetting process or our, verification system is very weak. There's a case right now in the Federal High Court in Abuja. It was about a $6.3 million that was illegally released from CBN. You know what happened? There was a document that was presented to the Department of CBN. On that document was the signature of the late President Muhammadu Buhari. So when the document arrived at CBN, they saw the letter, they processed the letter, and at the end of the day, they released the money. After 2023, there was an independent investigation into that account, and they found out that the signature of Muhammadu Buhari on that document was forged. Document was processed, and people got $6.3 million out of CBN. That case is presently at Federal Court. As a matter of fact, the chief of staff to Muhammadu Buhari at the time, Boss Mustafa, is a defendant to that case. CBN governor at the time, immediately, is a defendant to that case. They said they didn't know. They didn't know that something like that happened. They didn't know that the signature of Muhammadu Buhari was forged. Meanwhile, some civil servants, some staff within that department of CBN, they collude together to forge the document and to process that document, withdrawing $6.3 million. They were able to circumvent the system. There is a book that is written by the former EFCC chairman under Buhari, Abdurrashid Bawa. He titled it "The Shadow of Collusion and Losses: Uncovering Nigeria's Petroleum Subsidy Fraud." It don't mean that subsidy has not been going on, subsidy fraud has not been going on, or the EFCC have not been investigating and trying corrupt officials that are engaged or linked to subsidy fraud. It said something. It said there is systemic collusion that is making it pretty difficult for EFCC to have a headway. Because these people are business. If FD hire 5 stars, they are ready to hire 10 stars. If FD hire 10 stars, They have the money to hire 20 sons. They have the money to do anything, to prolong cases for as long as 10, 20 years to frustrate the system in Nigeria. So we are dealing with civil servants. Officially, we have about 720,000 civil servants. 720,000, a very large number. So tell me, how do you want to streamline these people? It's a very large number. And that is what we're talking about. When there's systemic collusion, how do we begin to upgrade our vetting system? If there's a document that comes before any department or any agency, how do we begin to discover that this signature here is fake or not? How do we improve on it? And it's becoming scary because, for instance, ICPC chairman came out and said there is a particular staff under the office of the Accountant General of the Federation that enrolled 14 members of his
family.
Of his family. In IPPIS. IPPIS is not manual. It's not manual. Yet, they still circumvent it. They still maneuver themselves and include the names of their family. These are staff. These are civil servants working in the department of the office of the Accountant General. Guess what? The Accountant General does not even know. He has no idea that something like that is going on. But those people that are entrusted.
Because the Accountant General can be doing everything.
Exactly. It is what that he knows that will be able to act upon. Even former Accountant General was jailed recently for about 70 years or something. Billions. I mean, how do we talk about that? We will talk about manual documentation easily being manipulated. How about IPPIS, a digital platform? And at the end of that investigation, the investigation has been going on right from 2023. But in 2025, they made some discovery and ended the investigation. There was about 467 bank accounts that were linked to that IPPIS to unverified individuals using 467 bank accounts to siphon funds from the departments of government. Over 941 million naira was recovered as of now from civil servants.
All right, Mark. Mark.
It's crazy.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to cut you short because we have run out of time. Oh, he has even gone. Thank you very much, Mark, for calling. To our other callers, you are the real MVPs. Evangelist Dixon, I saw your call. I am so sorry. I was on it. I picked the yes, but the network cut you off. I couldn't hear you. And then Shinawasil, you've not sent a voice note today now. We always appreciate your voice notes. Anyway, Ajayi Olusoga says EFCC should come up with another thing because this whistleblowing of a thing won't work under this administration. Except the whistle will be blowing against the opposition parties. Yahya Bello is still moving freely and even trying to contest a senatorial seat in his state. We should stop mocking ourselves. He also says my vote is my constitutional right and nobody should tell me who to vote for or threaten me because of my choice. Democracy means we should be free to support whoever we believe will serve the people best. Good morning, Evangelist Dixon. How are you?
Good morning, madam. I've been listening. I can't.
Good morning.
Anything can happen when network. I don't blame people like that. And I'm saying I don't need time has rightly. I've been listening. Time has gone. But all I need to say, corruption in Nigeria. I mean, Madam Summa, remember I tell us how many of us can raise a hand up saying we are not corrupt. Tell you the other day, you go outside to buy gas now. It's fair the feed. You want to buy a kilogram of fish. Let me start from small one. Talk like just working in offices and in the company and see, Nigeria, we should change our ways. If you do and get away, you get away from God. I don't know why you don't have it. Now, God has so much blessed this country. But because of corruption, that's why we are. I mean, of course, that are not corrupt. God is let me not take account. Then my God bless. I've been listening. I've been enjoying the program. God bless you. God bless. Nigeria is great again. We should learn to do the right. God bless you. God bless and thank you.
God bless you too, Evangelist Dixon. To round off Sumbo, what do you have to say in response to all our callers and our message.
Oh thank you to everybody who's made contributions, but I'm especially excited by the last caller. That was Mark, if I remember that is his name,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one person I would personally like to engage. Yeah, because of the depth of information he was giving, and I really don't know what he does, if he's a lawyer or something. But that tells you,
Always comes prepared for us.
if the what do you call it, if the information he was reeling out, are true, then it tells you the depth of the rot in this country. And
Hmm.
I have always said that, look, before you actually blame politicians, put your mirror, your searchlight on the civil servants in this country. They are the foundation for every corruption and scam, because it is the civil servants who teach the politicians what to do and how to do it. Every money that comes out goes through them. They do the voucher, they do the presentation and all of that. But that's not a topic for today because of time. But go to any meaningful estate in Lagos, and let me stick to Lagos, or Mole Estate, or Magodo Estate, or all the houses that are there, 70% of them, if you can say that, is owned by politicians. Where do they get them? I mean, by civil servants. Where do they get the money? You see a civil servant that is earning no more than 250,000, 300,000 a month. You go to his house, you see the type of cars that are there parked. I know many. That's why I'm speaking with every authority.
Yeah.
You see the kind of houses they build, you see their children studying abroad, and they are paying, bills in foreign currency, huge amounts of money. Where do they get the money? So look, Nigeria is just a scam center, unfortunately so. And it's difficult to put in the checks and balances, because the man who is a thief is not going to put in laws that will catch him.
Yes.
we'll continue to we'll continue to do the little that we can in our own corner, and hope that one day the little drops of water might become a mighty ocean for us to swim in this country. Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Lima. Good morning, Lagos.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Sumba, for your contribution. I'll call you what Evangelist Shegun always calls you, a lioness on air. Anyway, we have come to an end of today's edition of the Daily News Review. Stay with us. Catch us tomorrow by 7:30 a.m. for another edition from We at Women Radio WFM 91.7. Have a blessed morning. Good morning.